needs. 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 For so long, I did not even know what that meant in the context of myself. But we all have them, each and every one of us. But sometimes it can be hard to acknowledge them, or we don't even know how to ask for it. And this may be because we fear a rejection, or fear that someone might not meet our needs. We fear that we're not worthy enough to get our needs met. We fear that we might look too needy or too intrusive, and we don't want to burden other people with our needs. We might fear that if we ask somebody and then they meet it after we asked them, then they didn't really mean it anyway and it wasn't as sincere. Or sometimes we don't ask for our needs, and this is sometimes we're going to be talking about in this video, is because we simply do not know them. And man, have I been there. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. It is your girl, Nay. And if you're new here, this is a channel where we talk about mental health, personal growth, and self-discovery. And I'm here to challenge you guys as I'm on the journey to live unapologetic and intentional. So if this is something you're interested in, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you know when we post. Okay, so to start, what is a need? So the dictionary defines a need as something essential that is required for a healthy life. And when there's a deficiency in this need, it can actually lead to dysfunction. Or in other words, we're not able to live life to the fullest. So for many of us, our needs have been suppressed at the basic of basic levels. In other videos, I'll get into the hierarchy of needs and the 6 human needs and all of that. But in this video, we're bringing it to the basics. How to actually identify them. Because if we're not able to identify our needs, then none of that other stuff will make any type of sense. So we're gonna start at the basic. Now, I remember when I first started hearing about this, I first started learning about it earlier this year, I was like, needs? What is that? Like, wait, like me, like to drink water and, you know, to eat and all of that? Like, what are my other needs? As a people pleaser, and I know a lot of you guys probably fit into that category as well, but a lot of our life is lived on the external. How is somebody else feeling? What are they thinking? All of that, which is good, but it's not good when our own self is being suppressed, when we're not fulfilling what we actually want and need. For example, maybe you grew up with a parent who didn't really connect with you on an emotional level, and they would always say like, good job, or that was great, or did you get that A? I see you, good job. But they never said, I love you, or I really care about you, or you're the best daughter ever, or your best son ever, or whatever the case may be. In that case, you might have a hard time connecting to your need for emotional connection as you grow older. I don't really need people, or people are unsafe, or I don't need to have that bond or connection because it was broken at an early age. Or maybe you grew up with people who gave, and they didn't really receive at all. Or maybe you were in an environment where you gave so much of yourself and you received extremely positive reinforcement for it. So then you grow up connecting that positive reinforcement to giving, not receiving at all. And then you grow up disconnected from the need of having a choice. Now, I know this might sound a little bit scary. It's like, okay, yeah, I definitely am disconnected with my needs. I have no idea how to receive the things that I didn't receive when I was a child, or lost in my experiences growing up, my teen years, whatever the case may be. But I can tell you for a fact that what was programmed in can absolutely be programmed out. So how do we go from suppressing to unsuppressing? The first step is to acknowledge that having needs is not a bad thing. Now, all of us were babies at some point, and as babies, we did not worry about expressing our needs. We would cry and cry and cry and cry some more until our needs were met. We might not have been able to categorize how to meet our needs, but we absolutely expressed them. When we were hungry, we expressed it. When we went to sleep, we expressed it. When we wanted comfort and coddling and to be with our mom, to be with our caregiver, we expressed it. We did not worry about being a burden to our mom, to our parents, to our dad, anything like that. We didn't worry about it. But then somewhere along the line, as we were a child, adolescent, teen, adult, we grew up with the idea that needs were a bad thing. We all have them. If you are human and you are alive and you are breathing, it is okay to need something from another person. It is okay. It is actually completely natural. We were created to need one another. We were created to need God, we were created to one another, and we were created to need things from ourselves as well. All of those 3 entities we were created to need things from. That is part of being human. Number 2 is awareness. And if you've been on this channel, you know that I am so, oh my gosh, this is so important. But discovering what we actually need starts with introspection, and it starts with awareness of the small things. Now, this is work that I constantly have to do, even right now, especially as I'm learning to discover my needs more. But I'm gonna ask you some questions. These are some questions to help you understand a little bit what awareness in the current moment looks like. I want you to do this. Now, if you're standing or sitting wherever you are, I want you to close your eyes if you can, and just breathe a little bit. Are your shoulders feeling a little bit tense? Is your stomach or your throat a little bit tight? Are you feeling a little bit cold, a little bit hot? Are you feeling a little bit hungry? Maybe a little bit thirsty? When was the last time you ate? Are you feeling lonely right now? Do you wish you had social connection? Are you feeling like you just need a little bit of space? Are you longing for clarity in this moment? What are you in need of? All right, now you can open up your eyes if they are not already open. But what are you in need of right now? Number 3, take note of how many times you say no to yourself in a day. Man, I really wish I could go talk to that person right now. I really want to connect with them, but I'm not gonna. Now, in a previous video, I talked about congruency. And that's basically when we say yes when we really mean no, or no when we really mean yes. And I talked about how that can actually lead to us losing complete trust in ourselves because we're practicing self-betrayal to the one person that we're with 24 hours a day. Now, imagine you're a child right now and you're super thirsty and you just want a drink of water. But each time you go to your mom or your caregiver and you ask them for water, the answer is no. And you ask them again and it's no. And then you ask them again and it's no. And you ask them again and it's no. It just continuously is no. Every time you want a drink of water, the answer is no. Soon that child is going to stop asking for water. And it's not because they're not thirsty that they don't have the need anymore. It's more because they don't think that that need will ever get met. So the fact that you are not asking for things or you're not feeling like you need things doesn't mean that you actually don't need them. It just means that it's been suppressed for so long and you are almost blind to that. You don't feel it anymore. But once we open up and realize the areas that we've been saying no to, that no, you want that really great job, you want to take that job offer, go ahead, you can do it. Or you want that really good relationship, you know what, I'm gonna give that to you. Or you want a deeper connection with your family or clarity about that situation, or you want to speak up in that meeting or at school, you want to be heard right now, you know what, go ahead girl, I'm gonna give that to you. And you're gonna raise your hand and you're gonna do it. I see what you need and I'm gonna stop ignoring you. I'm gonna give it to you. Number 4 is to start and be very intentional. So recently I got a coach and she knows that I am a serial people pleaser and a perfectionist, or recovering, I should say. I'm recovering because I'm getting so much better. But I'm a recovering serial people pleaser. And she put me on a 14-day say no challenge. And I remember when I went on this challenge, the first day I went to the mall and there was a macaroon station there at the mall. And I was like, oh, this is so pretty. Let me go walk up to this, this station right here. It's so pretty in here. And I walked up to it and the lady got up from her seat and she walked over to me. And in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh no. Because I know for me and how it just always works. If I'm in like a store and I see somebody, like if they're like, oh, can I help you? I love it. But I also am like, oh, because I know myself. I'll buy something that I don't want just to please the person. I know that might sound weird, but yeah, if you're a people pleaser, you understand exactly what I mean. But so she got up from her seat and I'm like, oh boy. And she showed me all the macaroon, was like, oh, this is this flavor, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I can see inside of me, okay, I'm just gonna give her what she wants. She wants me to buy this $9 macaroon, whatever. I don't want it. They don't even look that good. They're pretty, but they don't look that good. But I'm gonna get it. I'm just gonna get one. But I'm like, you know what? No, like I am intentionally on this challenge, and my coach actually had me email her every day, every time I said no to something. So I'm like, I'm on this challenge. I gotta do it. And after I remembered that, it was almost like an excuse for me to be like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm good, but thank you so much. I appreciate it, but thank you. And she, was a little bit sad and sat in her seat. But I walked away so proud, not because she was sad, of course, but more because I respected myself and I said yes to the challenge that I set out to do. So how does that relate to this? Many of us are operating on autopilot. At the station, I would have automatically said yes. But the reason why I didn't is because I was very intentional about what my goal was. My goal was to learn how to stop people pleasing and to say no when I had the opportunity. So the goal here is to stop the autopilot of saying no to ourselves, of ignoring our needs, of not giving ourselves what we're actually thinking and wanting in our minds, and to address it. The goal is to challenge yourself. Now for you, this might look like at the end of the day doing a body scan and seeing how you're feeling at all corners of your body and seeing if there's any physical needs that need to be met. Or maybe it is every 5 or so hours, you take a couple minutes away, maybe 5 minutes away, and just sit with yourself and say, okay, what are you needing right now? Are you needing to express yourself? Are you needing to be heard right now? Are you needing to be seen? Are you needing to connect to someone? Are you needing to go out and explore? Are you needing financial stability? What are you needing right now? Or for you, maybe it looks like taking a tally of how many times you said no to yourself in a day for 2 weeks. Maybe that's what it looks like. But challenge yourself and be super intentional about finding what your needs are, feeling them as they are coming up and rising up and not suppressing them, because that is the automatic response to repress the needs, because that is what we've been trained to do in our minds, especially if it's something that we've suppressed since childhood. It's something that is trained in our minds. But the more often we let it rise to the surface is the more natural it'll become. Because like I said, if it can be programmed in, it can absolutely be programmed out. Now, this is all just a very, very basic level of understanding what our needs are. There's so much more to it, and I want to talk to you guys about how to communicate our needs, how our needs tie into our emotions, and even the link between our core values and our needs. And hints, there's a big one. But until then, I love you guys so much. Subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah! Bye, guys.